So today we're going to be looking at a file we found off of malware.com and start off by throwing it into PE Studio to get a quick overview. Here we see some virus total hits, pretty generic. Looking in the strings about midway down, we can see that there's an FTP domain as well as what looks to be like a login. If we throw the original file into IDA-Pro to get some quick disassembly, and once analysis is complete, go ahead and open up the strings submenu, and we can filter on FTP to see if we can find those FTP strings. Here they are, and pressing X brings up any cross-references to them, and here we have what looks to be a username and password along with the domain. So we can bring up something like FileZilla and go ahead and try to utilize those credentials to log in. I've previously found these credentials and copied them out to a notepad, so we can just paste them in here. So upon successful login, we see about 7 different files in the FTP server. So what we'll do is go ahead and create a temporary directory and download all those files for a little closer inspection later on. So we'll go ahead and get Wireshark set up here in preparation for our dynamic analysis. Here we see in the bottom right the different executables being spawned off by the initial executable. And I actually messed up on the network capture here. Due to my VPN, everything was encrypted, so can't really see too much. We'll go ahead and look at sandbox these files that were dropped out, and we can see something called exfiltrator.pdf, which correlates to one of the files that was on the FTP server. If we take a look at that in Explorer, we see that it's not a PDF, it's actually an executable. And disassembling that in IDA-Pro works just fine. Taking a look at it in PE Studio, we see similar strings to what we saw before with the FTP. Taking a look at the strings in IDA, we're able to find more FTP, and cross-referencing that, we see a similar function to the one before. This time this one says stage 2 malware, and some additional files, funny data, PII, stay on host, etc. If we go back to the batch files, these should be used for setting up persistence, but it looks like they're not quite finished, or they won't have anything in them of use. Looking down at the bottom, we see a profile report.txt, And this is system survey data that was sent back to the server, just applications that were running, some system info, etc. And then in typical ransomware fashion, there's a ransom note. In this case, we see that this is actually a demonstration application by Fidelis Security to show how ransomware works. So it is benign, but it is a good example of how multi-stage malware, especially ransomware, works nowadays. And yeah, just seeing how it works out in the real world. I imagine they use this for demonstration purposes.